Wow.
I go to the mall a lot, you guys.
I know. This kind of brings us back into this episode, and unfortunately, our friend Jeremy isn't here today.
Senior mall correspondent.
I know. He is the biggest mall enthusiast
right,
I've ever met in my life. Well, welcome back to Rabbit Troop Sucks. We are a podcast about obscure, forgotten about, and often overlooked films. And today we're going to be coming at you with 1986 Chopping Mall, which is a movie you should totally watch. I'm just going to open with that. And as always, I am Paul. And next to me is Mike.
Hey.
And we have our debut of our friend Emilio.
Hello.
And we have Lamar.
It's me.
And as I noted, we don't have Jeremy, and I'm specifically, again, noting that is, as Mike labeled him, our mall correspondent. Next time Jeremy's out here, if he doesn't go to Park Meadows Mall, like, I don't even know what to say about that.
Yeah, we'll get him down there.
He's been talking a big game about Cherry Creek Mall. He likes hanging out.
He's been there, yeah. Emilio, have you been to Park Meadows Mall?
I have been to the Park Meadows Mall, yes.
Did you like it?
I enjoy it. There was one episode where you guys were talking about the Cherry Creek Mall, and then Jeremy loves it. I absolutely hate the Cherry Creek Mall.
Thank you.
What is it about Cherry Creek Mall that you are disliking?
The parking, that I have to pay for parking.
Oh, my God, yeah, sure.
Oh, yeah, no one likes the parking.
Yeah, that was a big mistake, Cherry Creek. We do not want to pay for your parking. But did it stop anyone from going? It did not.
No.
Park Meadows Mall is probably going to be the closest mall I could think of to compare this mall and shopping mall
proper big mall.
Yeah. I mean, clearly it's going to be the 80s version of it. Yeah, as we've talked about before, Jeremy is in love with malls. And Jeremy and I, side note, kind of just grew up going to malls. Our parents dumped us off at malls, and we would go see movies and go eat at the food court. So I understand sort of why Jeremy loves them, but I'm like, that was my childhood. I'm willing to let it go. But yeah, this movie's bananas. This movie is all about robots, and I'm just going to read you the synopsis right here. A group of young shopping mall employees stay behind for a late-night party in one of the stores. When the mall goes on lockdown before they can get out, the robot security system malfunctions and goes on a killing spree. I also want to open with, who doesn't want one of these adorable robots? I love these robots.
What do these robots remind me of?
It reminds me of laser tag because it's like that big red beam and those big black guns. Like that mixed with, I don't know, like a G.I. Joe vehicle.
I was thinking like Battlestar Galactica.
Sure.
Yeah,
they're
just
like,
the eyes.
like a Cylon vibe.
Yeah, something like that. They look menacing, but they're so small.
Yeah, I know.
They kind of like have the I mentioned it earlier, Short Circuit, the Johnny Five. Kind of like that, except more menacing. But the tracks, the way they roll, it's pretty much the same.
Yeah, it's like a good best of robot. There's a little bit of the Lost in Space robot. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you know, they got lasers. They got the clamps.
Yeah, I mean those freaking clamps, like chop, chop, chop. Every time they show them from a distance, all I can think of is like, "What are you gonna do, little guy? You're so adorable. I just want to give the thing a hug. Like this thing eat treats."
It's like in the commercial where the robot brings you like the Coke, which it never actually could in real life.
Yeah. I mean, what would the treats be? Like, I just go over and give it a little quarter. Like, there you go, little guy. Like, I love you.
I don't know.
Working for tips.
The clamps I don't know. The clamps aren't adorable when they start going off.
Oh, like when it murders you and maims you, that's not fun times. But from a distance.
No, not at all.
Emilio, have you seen this movie beforehand?
I had not.
Okay. If you just read the synopsis, what on earth did you think these robots were going to look like? I mean, these robots are just so damn adorable.
Definitely not what I saw. Like you said, they're definitely cute. I would have pictured something like a Terminator or like a T-1000 or something.
Yeah, something actually menacing.
Yep, exactly.
They didn't have the budget for menacing.
I know, it's like one step away from like the Mall Radio Shack, like Shopping Mall, brought to you by Mall Radio Shack. Like, your kid could design an evil robot. Like, are your parents hassling you? Come to Radio Shack, design a robot. This Lamar, you have seen this movie with us, I would hope.
Yeah, this is only my second viewing of this movie. The first time I saw it with you guys, and I had just as much fun the second time around that I did the first time. I think it's been 4 or 5 years. And the first time I saw it with you guys, was it your first time as well? I think you were there, Mike.
That was my first.
first time, Paul?
Sounds like we're doing drugs or having sex.
I mean, was this your first time experiencing
I guess. Yes.
It's the same experience these kids are having.
I like watching it the second time because I barely remembered it the first time.
Yeah, we let's talk about the director slash writer of this film, Jim Wynorski. He did the Loot Empire '84. Seems interesting. I'm going to jump to a more modern film. He did a movie called Murderbot. I didn't even read the synopsis. It's from 2023. I'm not saying we'll do it for the podcast, but on my own, I'm 100% willing to watch the movie. Like, don't judge a movie by its title. I just did. It's called Murderbot, and I'm willing to watch it. I'm positive Mike's in on that adventure.
Absolutely. I've actually seen another one of this gentleman's movies.
Final Voyage?
It wasn't Final Voyage. You kind of glossed over. This man has directed 150 movies or thereabouts. Most of them, I believe, are pornography.
Cool.
The movie I saw, I was staying at my grandmother's house, and like,
is it pornography?
it is pornography.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is like the late night, like right after high school.
It's like Skinamax pornography, right? Not
Yeah,
like,
no, not like
the full. Okay,
You don't.
Yeah.
There's no penetration.
All
in
right.
this.
Yeah.
And I was staying at my grandmother's in New Jersey, and she had like all the primo channels. So this was like my late night viewing. The movie was The Bear Wench Project, of which he has made 3. So I'm familiar with this guy's work. He also voiced the robots in this movie. I don't know.
Yeah, he's all in on
Yeah,
it.
no, he's a creative
But
mastermind.
it's nice to know with Murderbot that he didn't lose his
good old Murderbot.
murdering,
Yeah,
his robot murdering
He's got a
tendencies
style.
over the years. He has a style.
it's
He's
like that
stuck
guy
to
with
it.
Roller Gator, and you know,
Oh, yeah.
you know,
Oh, yeah, we did
If you've
look
got
over
a
it.
thing, you've got a thing.
And he's all right with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we also have an additional writer, Steve Mitchell. Didn't really recognize anything Steve Mitchell did. The cast is pretty sparse as well. I mean, we'll cover some people as we go throughout, but there's really only 2 people I recognize, and Mike really eagle-eyed one of them who's not even in the movie for long, sort of spoiler. Tony O'Dell is the person I knew. That's Ferdy. Tony O'Dell, shout out Modern Films. He's one of the original Cobra Kai. He is in Karate Kid as one of the Cobra Kai members. That's Tony O'Dell. He doesn't really have a lot of lines in Karate Kid. I watch Karate Kid probably 7 times a year.
Yowza.
He is definitely just in the background a little more, but he is one of the Cobra Kai members. He's also in Head of the Class, which is very notable. One of the there's like 4 women and a few guys. Kelli Maroney is someone else I recognize. She plays Allison Parks. She's in Fast Times at Ridgemont High. So that's pretty notable. And then I'm looking for who our other guy is. It's Michael. Where's Michael Most? There we go. We got John. Man, my handwriting's terrible.
His last name's also weird.
Yeah.
Like Terlesky. I can't read my handwriting. Is a problem.
I don't think it would have helped.
Well, he plays Mike Brennan, and he is most notable. And God help us all, we're gonna do this one day. He plays Deathstalker in Deathstalker 2. And if anyone has not seen Deathstalker, it is a fantasy film, sword and sorcery, much like Conan. But this movie is a comedy, and there are, I believe, 4 Deathstalker films, maybe 3, but I think there's 4. But the second one is directly a comedy, and it is very different, and it's totally fun. And side note, the director of Manborg and The Void, movies we've talked about, formerly Astron 6, that director kickstarted that he's going to reboot Deathstalker, and there will be a new one. So I look forward to that.
Wow.
Go pro Deathstalker.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm in. I actually watched Deathstalker 2 like a week ago.
Yeah,
that's why I noticed this guy.
Oh, that's awesome, Mike. That was very like kismet that you'd see this guy again. I threw in Deathstalker, honestly, I don't know, like a couple months ago in the background. I was like, this movie's just so weirdly fun. Yeah. Deathstalker 2, if you haven't seen it, watch it.
Yeah.
At least this.
Speaking of films that want to be rebooted, I was reading in the IMDb trivia that James Wan actually wants to remake Chopping Mall.
Fuck yes.
Wow.
That's amazing.
Yes, let him do it.
Yeah, just don't. You've got, like, if you remake this film, you've got to keep an element of cheesiness to it. Like, you cannot make this a serious film at this point in time. I mean, we would all agree to that, right?
Correct.
I
Like-
would agree. It's called Chopping Mall. I
Yeah.
wouldn't expect any seriousness out of it, and you would have to go at it a little tongue in cheek.
Yeah, I mean, maybe the robots could hug you this time. Like, anything to make those robots more adorable for me is all I've ever wanted. That would be fantastic.
Put a little bow on them. It'd be all right.
Friends.
And have them say that. There was a lot of. They did look like they were looking for a hug.
I know. Stop. Oh my God. 4 hugs. Yeah, I'd be the first one dead in this movie. How did he die? Was he defending you? He tried to hug the robot. Did he die well? He died quickly and painfully. He was hugged to death.
Damn shame.
This movie starts off with a commercial for these robots. Some thugs with firearms break into the mall, as one does in any decade in life, and they're going to shoot up the mall, but stop. The robots on their little treadmill system or track system roll up and stop them and kill these people. They're dead. That's part of the commercial. That's what you want to see, that these robots will kill people in your mall.
Oh no, he's just asleep. That's what the doctor said.
Did he get for real?
Yeah,
Okay.
he got like electrocuted. He's like, no, he's not dead. He's just they're sleeping darts or whatever.
Okay, I was writing notes. That's very possible. These robots are armed.
They're dead. For
Well, yeah, these robots are armed with firearms, like electrocuting probe wires.
The head exploding laser wasn't featured in
Sure.
in the commercial.
And damn, these things are laser happy. Like when these robots start shooting lasers, it's like someone just spun a disc of lasers because it's like bop, 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 bop.
They are not paying by the laser.
No, they are not. And everyone's very pleased. And we see this commercial that, these death bots are going to secure up this mall. Again, Shopping Mall 1986. I assume this movie was probably filmed in 85. So we get mid-80s sensibilities. And everyone's like, oh, bravo. Great presentation. They're just like sitting in the middle of a mall. Like people
Right.
are like buying ice cream behind them. And
Well, like that one dude and his wife are just talking shit the whole time.
yeah.
Like, maybe we should get them for the restaurant. Like, why are they even there? Who invited these guys? Do you need robots for your restaurant?
Yeah, we find out there's going to be 3 robots. There are 3 floors to this mall, and in 1 week they're going to launch the robotics security program, and there will be 1 robot assigned. And yeah, some like Yahoo is sitting there is like, oh my god, we got to protect these, but you know what they say about robots? I'm like, I don't even know what's happening.
No, I don't know what they say about robots.
Every now and then, some of my favorite scenes are, and you again getting those 80s fun, healthy sensibilities. They show some tech guy in like the tech room, which is so ridiculously decked out sci-fi style, where there's like weird light matrices and like 17 monitors, but really like 4 on, and like God knows what they're in. But my favorite part in all of it is like the tech lab guy is just chain smoking away, like right in front of this technology. I jokingly looked at Lamar and I was like, he's just using the keyboard as an ashtray. Like,
Directly right in there. It makes it run faster.
sure.
I like the presentation that they put on. The movie actually started with the presentation, so you as the audience, you're just watching and you're thinking this is the movie. And after he puts that the guy to sleep, it says at the end on the screen. It's like 1 minute
was
into
it,
the movie,
yeah.
and I'm like, wow,
We're done.
Chopping Mall, awesome. But then you realize that it's the presentation that they're putting on.
But people loved it. Loved the presentation.
They did.
Everyone likes the robots.
I mean, who the hell are half of these people?
Other
You never see them again.
other
do you?
shopping mall owners.
Hey, when you come back
about
next
that.
week, we're gonna secure this up with a bunch of robots. Bravo, bravo, sir. I now feel safe bringing my children and friends and family to the donut shop.
But how does it know the good guys from the bad guys?
And they tell you that, Mike. Great question. You will show a security badge in front of the robot, and it will scan you. And if you have your security badge, it will recognize that you are an employee. Thus, you are a good guy, and it will not, put you to sleep,
Yes.
or else, or other, or etc. Question mark.
And to quote the doctor, this is a foolproof plan.
Sure, yeah. Yeah, we've never tested this out.
There's
and
no way this is going to go wrong.
Right, like we're just gonna non-man this, and basically, let's go back. So again, I would assume this is like 1985, like, and everyone would assume that's when it's being filmed, being released. That someone's like, "Hey, you don't know what AI is, but I basically created it," and we're now looking 40 years ago when this movie was released, roughly. And everyone's like, the group of 20 people in the mall are like, fantastic. This would be national and global news. Mall secured up by robots. Robots become sentient beings. Robots are just in charge of business now.
I don't know how. I think this presentation was just for these store owners, and it was probably experimental. It's like, we're going to try this out. Don't tell the outside world that we're doing this. I don't know.
Also, how are they generating this kind of mall money? This is like cutting edge. Dude, this is a year after Nintendo was released in America. Like,
that was a pretty nice mall.
These robots would have to be millions of dollars.
No, they had that restaurant Italian. They had the Florsheim boot store.
Wait, yeah. We were noting on the store names, Emilio. Mike and I come from an Italian background, so we really appreciated the restaurant just named Italian. What was the almonds, like World of Almonds?
World of Almonds, yeah. What was the sporting goods store?
I have that written down later in my notes.
We'll get to it.
Well.
Yeah.
I'm so glad there's not backstory explaining the funding behind these robots and all that. Shopping mall just goes right into it.
There's no real back explanation.
Good.
It's just like, there's robots, they're in the mall, and we go. We don't need to know more than this.
And that little presentation.
Yeah.
Which kind of reminded me of, there's a lot of, I don't want to say a lot of similarities, but there are some to RoboCop.
Yeah.
And this presentation scene reminds me of one from RoboCop when they're presenting Ed 209. Mm-hmm. And the guy has a gun, and Ed's like, put down your weapon. And the guy puts down his weapon, Ed just shoots him.
Yeah.
When the robot was scanning the badge, I kind of thought it was going to go down like that.
We were hoping.
It was kind of similar, but it went off a different way.
Yeah.
They also note something else about security that I believe it's like 10 o'clock at night. They will use electronic security doors. So basically these metal doors just shut and secure them all closed. No one can get in, no one can get out. Again, there will be one robot per floor.
This seems like it would be against fire code.
This seems, again, like, where the hell are you getting this kind of money? You're a mall. Like, even Sherry Creek. Like, what?
Yeah. Also, if you have doors that close so no one can get in and out, just close them earlier and you don't need the robots.
That's true.
Yeah, well. But what if someone did?
Yeah, I guess.
And are there no windows to the outside world? Like,
no.
not one.
It's like a casino. You don't want people knowing what time it is.
And not one department store has a window.
No, they don't.
I also want to make a really quick side note, and this is a side note I made while watching the movie. I was like, oh God, I also forgot I own this soundtrack. So
this soundtrack fucks. It's pretty good.
It's so quirky and then like weird arpeggiated, like on the go later. It's like, I'm like, get out of there, dude. You could do it. And the robot will.
Is it John Carpenter that always does his own soundtracks?
Yeah.
It's like this guy heard that. It's like, I can do it. I can do this.
I could Carpenter my way. They'll remember.
And then he went to this mall and bought the cheapest Casio he could find.
He did.
And made the soundtrack.
I remember when we watched this movie and you said you were going to get the soundtrack. I thought you were joking.
Oh, I did.
You did not joke. You did. Get that soundtrack.
I did it. Shopping mall on vinyl.
I'm proud of you.
Wow. Fantastic purchase. The next scene we really get is the opening of the movie. We gave you some backstory a little bit, or a little backdrop that we don't need to repeat later. But also, we're in a mall, so we get a lot of mall opening sequences, and It's the morning. This is where I really thought of Jeremy. We get to see the food court. Everyone's drinking, Coca-Cola out of those like waxy cups filled with ice. Everyone's got those trays. There's a couple making out by a fountain. This elderly couple sees them. They start making out. all these old school stores that you just don't even see anymore. And then it's like Chopping Mall, and it quickly goes to now it's becoming night. You see some of the characters working. Some people are working at some kind of furniture shop. A couple women are working at, I assume now from the store name, Italian. But maybe there's also a pizzeria in addition to Italian. But it's starting to close up. Everyone's kind of gossiping and talking about, each other and who's doing what, and are people getting together. But there's going to be a party at the furniture store, and I have questions about how old any of these people are. I don't know if they're in high school.
I wrote that in my notes too.
How old do you think they are, Emilio? Like, supposed to be in the movie, like not even looking up ages.
I wasn't sure because every single one of the girls, they have to call their daddies as they say it. It's like, oh, let me get my daddy's permission, and every single one of them calls them. So I'm like, maybe they're in college, but it seems like they were getting Rick to buy the beer. Because maybe he's older. I wasn't sure.
Yeah, I mean, if I were just looking at people in this, I'd be like, you're in college. Like, you're maybe early 20s, but everyone kind of looks like 25 and above. But this is 80s aging. They were probably like 14.
Right. I took it as they were in high school. But,
and that's what I was thinking too. The age is a huge question mark in all of this for me. We also see that there's a lightning storm, and immediately it's like some transformer is struck with lightning, and the robots become sentient beings. I mean, that's like almost like within a minute from the credits.
I also like that they just got that out of the way.
Yeah.
No weird scientific explanation.
Yeah.
Like, there was lightning, now they're alive, it's fine.
Yeah.
We just carry on.
Yeah, they're alive.
And for some reason, very angry.
Oh yeah, you wake up angry.
Yeah.
You're like, I am made of so strong iron, but they look so cheap plastic.
When you're electrocuted, you wake up angry.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've heard that.
Well, now the mall's closing and everyone's getting off work. We're gonna meet the whole crew. Michael is working at a furniture shop. Michael is Deathstalker, and Paladin Mike over here is probably going to reference him as Deathstalker for the rest of the movie. He has one of my favorite interactions with the movie. He's talking to his girlfriend Leslie, and he's like, I can't wait till we get it on and everything's going up. And Leslie's dad immediately walks in and was like, what are you talking about? Like, what can't you wait for? And
Michael.
And Michael is just like a mouth of marbles. And I don't even remember what Leslie says. Like, he can't wait to take me to the movies or something. And that father's stare down, that was a real eye opener. That's a father who is later going to go to the sporting goods shop, also purchasing a gun, and has his own robot, quote unquote, to kill. I'm sorry, put to sleep.
Well, I mean, thankfully, it saves him some time. He won't need it.
Oh, that's sad in a way, and humorous in another way.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Ferdy, that's his uncle, I guess? Because he does reference, he's like, my uncle owns the store.
Oh, fucking Fergie. Yeah.
Ferdy.
Oh, I didn't hear that.
Yeah. So Ferdy also works there, and I guess he's more in charge, I would assume.
Yeah, he's the...
I guess a manager or supervisor or someone with like extended powers, right?
I mean, he thinks he is, at least. He's got paperwork to do.
Yeah.
And all these carpet samples.
Closing the store and, stuff like that. And they're going to invite some ladies over, and they're going to put Ferdy on a blind date.
Yeah, you know why? Because fuck the fuchsia. It's Friday.
That's the tattoo I think most people should get, or the shirt you could make.
Okay, yeah.
Then I know we have really quickly a new scene that a new computer tech takes the place of the dead one that we saw. He walks in with a sack lunch and eats the remnants of a donut. And then I know just the robot behind him starts taunting him.
Yeah.
Total Scooby-Doo moment.
Yeah.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, it's like clamp, and then he's like turning around. He's like, zoinks? Like, I thought I heard something.
Ruh-roh.
He's opening up his little gun hatch, like, and then the phone rings, and he's like, oh, you heard me. Put the little hatch back down.
Why does it need a gun hatch?
You don't want to see a gun in there.
Why do we even need heaven guns?
Why does it have a gun at all? But, like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Just leave it out in the open.
Well, you don't want people seeing that.
You don't want dust getting in there.
Yeah, that's
Maybe it was programmed to like do like high noon draws. Can you imagine a little robot taking out a side piece?
Oh, sorry. Because I'm an alcoholic,
holster.
when you said high noon, I thought you meant the beverage. Like it was like a seltzer dispenser like a clown would have.
No, I'm just talking about a Western.
Okay,
Western
that makes
style.
more sense. That makes more
Little
sense.
robot taking out a side piece.
Yeah. That would be better if the robots just had like actual pistols that they had to carry around.
This would be
man.
more adorable.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
the sequel. How do you make them more adorable? Accessorize
Put a
them.
hat on them, some chaps.
We got a hat, a bow, chaps. Wow.
If that thing was rolling around in a sun hat, I'm taking that home right now.
Give one of them an eye patch, really just kind of elevate.
Yar. Stop.
Yeah, make them themed. Have one be a pirate. One's like an Italian mobster.
I like that yard.
Mike, the one working at Italian. Ah, my scusi.
Am I funny like a clown?
now I can't get that damn pirate version.
He did it so well.
So, so Ferdy's complaining about all this. Like, hey guys, I don't want to party and I'm in charge. And they're like, shut up, Ferdy.
He's a stick in the mud.
He is. Do you know, I looked this up because I thought his name was stupid. It's a German name that means bold voyager.
Yeah, well,
Oh, all right.
he's not called Bold Voyager, is he?
No.
It's Ferdy. That's the real
Yeah.
unfortunate.
Ferdy Ferd.
Real unfortunate.
It is.
Well, we also get Allison in the mix. So it's Susie getting off work, and she's like, hey, I'm going to go party with my guy Greg, and he's super cool. And there's going to be some other people, and you don't really hang out all too much, and maybe you should hang out with this guy.
Yeah, we promised this big nerd we'd bring him a girl so we could hang out in his furniture store.
And he's got a lovely personality. And they say that to her like 17 times.
Great personality.
Lovely personality. What does he look like? He looks like his personality. It's lovely. But they do meet. I'm going to kind of jump to the chase. They really get off right away.
Oh, they get off.
Yeah, I knew that came out wrong. They get along really well. I don't want to say love at first sight, but they immediately are like, oh, like, hey, nice to meet you. I thought this was going to be an awful time, but you seem cute, and I'm willing to talk to you.
Well, they have to do something while all their friends are fucking.
It's super awkward. It's a thing happening. They're in a furniture store, and again, Leslie's dad owns this, Daddy. And one couple is just having sex, like it's Deathstalker. It's Michael and Leslie.
Yeah.
They're like having sex and like noting what they're doing, and I don't know, 10 feet away.
Yeah, it's like 20 feet away.
Like another couple's on a couch, like doing similar stuff, and another couple is doing that. Like it's really gross. Like it's like a really weird time. Like I understand at first, like they're all kind of partying, they're drinking beer, like whatever, and they may or may not be underage because we don't know how old anyone is. This guy Rick shows up. So there's that too. And then there's another woman too. I can't remember.
It doesn't matter. Are they the ones that came in the car?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rick and Linda.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Rick and
okay.
Linda.
Is that the one who smelled like pepperoni?
That's Susie.
That was Susie.
That was
Okay.
Greg and Susie, yeah.
Greg and
Yeah.
Susie. I love pepperoni.
Yeah, gross.
What? No.
Well, but at first, so I kind of understand. People are partying. Listen, I was never really in this situation. Like, I didn't go to like group hangouts like this. But I will throw this out: if there were like couples maybe in the corner making out a little bit or whatever, still I'm looking at this as clearly an older male. And I'm like, gross. Like you're just like 10 feet away making out. Like, and I don't mean like, oh, you kissed. I'm like, you're just like heavily making out. But okay, let's say they're teens. Or early in college, and they're making out. That's okay. Like, I guess that's happening. That's one thing. These people are straight up having sex. Like, there are people having sex, like, 20 feet from one another in the place that they work.
Right.
So,
And to your point, narrating.
yeah.
Oh, I don't do that. You did it last.
Yeah. That's true. That's
Yeah.
a quote. And so that's super gross. And then we get Allison and Ferdy, and they're all super cute. Like, they're, like, getting cutesy and cuddling up a bit, and they're watching some old black and white sci-fi film, and Allison kind of jumps. She's like, I'm really scared about these things. I should have told you.
The least scary movie in the world they're watching.
Yeah, it is the least. Like, it would be like rated G at this point. Like in 1980, it would have been rated G. So.
Like this is like Bluey level of.
Yeah. Shout out to Bluey. So that's happening. I do like this scene. You do see kind of Ferdy's character, which I like. And he's like, "Oh, can I get you some more wine?" And she's like, "Oh, are you trying to get me drunk?" And he's like, "Oh my God, no!" Like, and he's sincere about it. He's like, "No, it's like whatever you want." Like, you could tell, like, you don't have to drink, you can drink. And he's very clear. He's like, "I just want to hang out with you. Like, I was really unsure about tonight, but after meeting you, like, it's a great pleasure to meet you." And you could tell really his sincerity. Like, 3 other couples are, having sex and being super gross, and like, there's one guy who seems like kind of like the nice romantic. And she picks up on it quickly. She's like, "You know what? I was thinking about like going home later." He's like, "How about I drive you home?" She's like, "We'll talk about it, but how about I stay later?" And she's all into it. Like, she wants to talk. She wants to hang out. I think it's kind of cute. Yeah, it's kind of like a fun moment.
This scene actually came off a lot better than I thought it would be, especially for a movie of this quality. This
high of quality.
Yeah. I mean, you got to bring up the scenes to a higher quality to match with everything else. But I kind of like, it's kind of feels sincere. It feels nice. It's not hokey at all. And you can tell that it's kind of, almost feels kind of real. Here's 2 stick in the mud characters meeting, and they're kind of loosening up, and you can see that through this little date that they're having on the couch, which is awkward because there's sex all around them.
Right.
And she's coming around a lot faster than he is, and kind of just picks up, and they finally kiss.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, totally. I mean, this is, honestly, I think for me, especially at this age, this is like dream date number 1. Like, people might be like, you just like jump into sex, and people are doing wild parties. It was really just like meeting someone and talking to them and like really like clicking. I totally buy this scene. I think these are top billed, both of them, Allison and Ferdy. I do think both the acting skills are seen more in both of them than anyone else. Everyone else is like, "What? Robots? Kill them."
Yeah, sure.
They have a little bit more acting, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
It gets a little better after a while, but in the beginning, they're just stereotypical Chads and Stacys just fucking around in a mall. Literally.
We get a nice little cameo. We get a quick cut to... there's still some custodial staff members in the mall, and it was kind of highlighted that, I think it was, again, I could be wrong, but at 10 o'clock, the door's shut, and so they're like, "We got to get out of here." I know 2 of the custodial staff are straight up just drinking bottles of beer.
They got fucking highlights they're rolling around with, and also not doing any work.
Right. They're like, "Take it easy." And they say take it easy to the 3rd custodial staff member. I believe his name is Walter, but it is played by Dick Miller. As we have noted before, and this is our year of Joe Dante. We started off with Small Soldiers. We went to the Burbs, and then we have one coming up in the fall and in the winter. That Dick Miller is kind of this cameo character, and he's up until his death, he was in every single Joe Dante film. Yeah, I didn't know he was in other films. I need to look him up more, but yeah, here we go. He is playing the 3rd custodial staff member, and he's cleaning up, some, I don't know.
It's like a milkshake or something.
I guess, like some beverages that look kind of gross. You would think it'd be 1. Later, I'm going to note his bucket spills, and it looks like there was 50 milkshakes worth in there. There's like 7 gallons of milkshake fallout. But the robots approach him, and he doesn't know they're possessed. And poor Dick Miller, he's like, "Get out of here, robots." And he's already sassed by his custodial staff. They're like, "You're going to get locked in here again."
Yeah, even if he didn't know they were possessed, he was acting like he had sort of never seen one before, and maybe didn't understand the severity of not showing his badge.
I don't know. I still would have just hugged it. Like,
yeah.
"What are you doing?" Like, hugs.
But it knocked milkshake all over his shoe.
Oh, and that pissed him right off. Yeah. To quote my friend Lopan, "Well, this really now pisses me off." Yeah, they knocked down that bucket, and he's like, "You got to be kidding me!" And he does show his badge.
Yeah, kind of. He's like, "You want to see it? Fuck you! Here it is, dick."
And that robot throws out like electric wire, like a stun gun. Like those stun guns that shoot those wires, those probes.
Yeah.
And it goes into the water, and nothing happens. He's like, "What's going on here?" And he keeps sassing the robot, and then it just electrocutes him. That's it.
Poor guy.
There's Dick Miller. Dick Miller's dead.
Yeah.
Dick Miller's been in a lot of movies.
Like outside of Joe Dante films?
Oh, like tons of movies.
That's awesome.
240 titles.
Oh my God.
IMDb.
That's fantastic.
He was in a movie that we did.
Well,
that wasn't a Joe Dante movie.
What was it?
Demon Knight.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah, that's right.
Guy gets
Uncle
around.
Willie, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
R.I.P. R.I.P. Dude. Yeah, I mean, what a great actor. I mean, what a storied life too. I mean, you might not have a lot of. I mean, this role is he probably shot it in 35 minutes.
Oh, if that.
He was probably at the mall. They're like,
Yeah,
"Oh my
right.
God, is that Dick Miller?"
Yeah.
He's like, "It is. I am at World of Almonds."
He was out for a nice Italian meal.
Yes. What did you order? I ordered meatball.
I love meatball.
It was so tasty. It went well with I don't even know what spumoni. So yeah, where are we? I'm so derailed with Dick Miller. Okay, so they kill him. Dick Miller's dead. This is where we get Leslie talking to Mike. So I guess they were having sex. They're about to have some more sex. And Leslie's like, listen, I really want some cigarettes. And Mike's like, come on, like, you smokes. Like, let's put all this again, 80s sensibilities. So she's like, okay, I think one of my friends has a pack of Camels up front. She's like, I don't like Camels. Like, what did she want? Like Virginia? No, she wanted like
Extra virgin slim.
Virgin Light is
Slims.
what she wanted.
Yeah.
So she's basically smoking cigarettes, which I assume the Penguin smokes in Batman. Like, it's probably like half a foot long and like thin as could be. And he's like, where the hell am I going to get that? And of course, like I'm watching this, I'm like, oh, he's like, what am I supposed to like drive and go get him? And for a second, I'm like, Deathstalker, that makes sense to me. But I forgot we're in the mid 80s. She's like, well, there's a vending machine like around the corner that sells my brand of cigarettes. I was like, holy crap,
checks
80s.
out, man.
He's like, all right. So this is also like a surreal moment for me. I mean, not really like I've ever experienced this, but I can't even imagine this. So Deathstalker Mike leaves the furniture store. He does take his badge. He's smart enough. This guy's only wearing pants, and he is half zipping them up. He's not wearing shoes or a shirt. Can you even imagine walking around a mall just in pants in the middle of the night? Yeah. Now, I think I just described Jeremy's fantasy.
Yeah.
This is Jeremy's nirvana. Like he will be reincarnated into this situation. This is all he's ever wanted. But like, can any of you just like imagine just strolling through the mall barefoot by yourself?
I mean, Joe Dante just cleaned not Joe Dante. Dick Miller just cleaned the floors, so they're clean. You don't need shoes.
Sure.
No one else is there.
That'd be nice with no one else there.
Yeah.
I mean, all it takes is one other person there
Pop
to
that
screw
shit off.
everything.
It's like this would not be for me. I don't think I'd want to be here like this. This is like a Last of Us, like the world's over situation.
Hey, frolic around. Just hang out at Orange Julius, no shirt, just kick your feet up.
Maybe it's like too Dawn of the Dead for me, like knowing that like the world is dead or something, and I don't know, it'd just be weird. I'm just like, I'm in the mall alone. Like that's super weird.
I don't know. If the world did end, I would smoke cigarettes in a mall shirtless. That sounds fine.
It's like your vacation.
Yeah.
Like that's what I do on Fridays now.
Right.
Like I go to that mall, I take off my shirt, I light up,
That's why I go to the mall so often.
I look at the beautiful Galleria ceiling.
Yeah.
But you're not going to get that at the mall. I also note some of the decor of the mall. I've noted this in malls before. Oh my God. It is just standard red carpeting every which way through that mall. Just plush red carpeting and so much brown and wood. Like that's the 80s.
Yes.
Like here's a glass. It's brown. Your ashtray's brown. These windows are brown. There's wood paneling that's brown. There's a red carpet.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that. Just want to give a shout out
Lived in a
to an old school mall here in Denver, Buckingham Square.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, you're probably familiar with it. I don't know. Maybe
I've been.
The old
Oh
Buck.
yeah, they didn't close down until 2000. So I bet you boys probably been in there once
Oh
or twice.
yeah. I only went there once.
It's a lot of wood.
late 90s.
Yeah,
I
pretty
went
nice.
there once. This would have been 2005 with guest host Emily. There were
Emily took you to the old Buck.
the old Buck. Yeah, there were
old
maybe
Buck.
3 stores still open.
Yeah, sure.
There was an archery range in there for some reason.
Wow.
Yeah,
They had the room.
Yeah, they did have the room. Like a lot of fountains that weren't turned on. It was pretty good.
We have 3 stores. We have the archery store. We have a place where we just call Run. You pay us $5, you just run around.
Yeah, I mean that's basically what it
And
was.
the lemonade stand. So
Right. It was like a Pacific Sun, like
buy some sunglasses, get an earring.
Nice.
right, the archery place, like a dress store for like quinceañeras, and maybe something else.
I don't know. When you mentioned wood paneling, I just remembered Buckingham Square.
Oh,
It was
yeah.
like a classic.
What was up with the 80s? Wood paneling, everything. Like, you know what this room needs? Wood paneling and plush carpets.
Big red plush carpet.
There's a room in my house with wood paneling, and I'm 100% leaving it there.
That's right.
You're not going to remodel that in any extent?
The wood paneling stays.
Are you being serious?
I am being
That's
serious.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Thank you for your service.
It feels homey. And yeah. Someone's got to do it.
Oh yeah, hold it down, Mike.
Belongs in a museum.
Wow. Okay, well, Mike goes around the corner. Not this Mike in this room, but Deathstalker Mike.
Yeah, Paul's just narrating my movements now.
And he gets killed by a robot. He complains.
He gets
about-
the clamps.
Yeah, he gets the clamps. He's dead. And then Leslie comes out, and Leslie's like, "What's going on here?" And she also gets killed because she starts running off, and she's like, "Oh my God, Mike's dead!" And she just starts hauling it. And as I noted before, when robots start shooting lasers, it's not. You would think a robot would maybe be like zeroing in. I am shooting precision lasers. It is not. It's willy-nilly laser time. It's like if a laser, if the head is shooting lasers, it's like someone kind of spun it, and it's like pew 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 pew. And imagine with each pew, I'm giving you a left right, because that's how lasers are coming out.
Yeah.
She's dodging some of them.
Yeah, she gets hit a couple times and takes it like a champ.
Yeah.
Until she doesn't.
Until her head explodes off. And that's a real bummer. That's a real splitting headache situation. Thank you. This has been brought to you by Bayer. Nuprin. Little yellow.
Nuprin. Okay.
Wayne's World. Yeah, she's super dead. The survivors are now holding up. Well, they see this from the furniture store. I think Mike noted in our viewing that they really don't have this grandiose reaction. They're like, "Oh, damn, she's dead."
Yeah.
Like, I would be out of there. I would be trying to help and usher people to where I'm going, but I would not be gawking at the head explosion.
I would be vomiting probably if I saw one of my friends' heads explode.
Yeah, I mean, I think the disarming thing for I'm laughing as I'm saying this. The disarming thing for me is I've already narrated. I'm like, oh, what a cute robot, and that's what would catch me off guard for a second. Like,
Aw.
look at this adorable SOB just driving by, and then I'd be like, oh my God, one of my best friend's head exploded. And I think I might come to my senses quicker than the rest of these people in this group. Not in our real group, but in this movie. And just haul ass. And they do go to this back stock room. We're like, we're going to barricade in the stock room. And they come up with this elaborate plan of we're going to crawl through the duct system. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's not a bad plan, I guess. I mean,
It was their only escape, really.
Yeah. Well, at this, the security doors have now closed.
yeah, I mean, also
So they're trapped.
I mean, also think of this. Yes, good call, Mike, on that one. Yeah, they are now locked in until 6 a.m. until the doors reopen, and I guess other people living show up. And
Not other dead people.
so the thing I want to note too is like the frightening thing, I guess, if we were looking at this as a less than campy film, is if you are one of the employees working here, you probably have absolutely no idea what the capabilities of these robots are. I mean, like, they showed this in the beginning of this movie. They're like, coming soon, there's going to be some robots, like, move over, security guards, Robotown. And then they're like, in 1 week, we're going to do this. Do you think any employee in the 80s was trained to be like, here are these robots? They're probably like, here's a badge. You'll be killed if you don't show the badge. You'll be stunned. You'll be put to sleep.
You know, why did they even give the robots the head exploding laser? Why was that needed?
That's what I'm saying, dude.
They got the clamps, they got the sleep dart.
I'm thinking maybe their lasers were amplified by the
lightning?
Lightning, maybe,
Okay.
because I'm thinking some of these shots are just grazing some of the people. Some of them are actually cutting in and they're bleeding.
Right.
And others are just amplified to just explode ahead.
So this is like Borderlands. They got the gun where like every 10th shot is a power shot.
exactly.
Okay.
Well, I mean, honestly, yeah, probably. Yeah. I mean, so in the beginning, in the commercial, they're like, well, these robots do have the capabilities to like cut through doors, and they have like, I would say like saws or many things, but nowhere was it like freaking lasers shoot out of their heads and can kill. Like, how about this? I don't remember in the commercial laser beams being brought up to any capacity. Like, there is a death laser that is going to be shot out of a freaking robot. I do not remember anyone bringing that up.
It wasn't in the brochure.
Sure. So, you know what? You know what goes good? Crazy death lasers and a bunch of wild 80s teens running them all. What could go wrong in this situation?
Exactly.
Yeah, great.
It's false advertising.
Yeah. So, yeah, fantastic. So, yeah, they're holding up. So we get Linda, Susie, and Allison. All three of them are able to get into the air ducts. And they separate themselves from the men unintentionally because the robot does get through the door and they're like, get the hell out of here. Like, go through the air ducts, get out. And all three dudes, who are Greg, Rick, and Ferdy, they just take off. They're like, we got to get out of here. Luckily, there's like a way out of the back door. Also, these robots are slow as hell. And couldn't you hear them? They're on a big like track.
Yeah.
Well, they sound like Harley Davidson sometimes, but also they're completely silent other times.
Well, I mean, when the second lab tech before he died, that robot talked for a second. He's like, I'm like, are you kidding me? Like how much more can you taunt like anyone? Like, you're straight up talking, and that guy's like, what?
Sphincter says what? Huh?
Yeah, that robot shut him down good. They are all running. So they make their way out of the furniture store. They're making their way. They basically just split up. I don't remember exactly where the women go through the air duct.
Well, they were trying to go to the parking garage.
Oh, that's
until
right.
one of them had a fucking freak out.
She's freaking out. All right, I'm guessing claustrophobic.
Yeah,
I don't know. That's what I picked up.
That's
The
fair
way
enough.
she's freaking out, I've seen it.
There was something going on.
Yeah.
Well, they also
Yeah.
mentioned that the air ducts are really hot, and her line, and I quote, is, I know they know we're in here. They're trying to French fry us.
They did, well, yeah, they did know they were in there, I guess.
You know, I this is going to be really morbid, but if this is the way I go, and you reference that I got French fried in my obituary, I understand. French fried in the air duct. Like, I understand.
He died like he lived.
There's so many ways you can go.
So again, with the robots, when they were they had control of the HVAC.
All right.
When they were making the robots, they were like, "Should we give them control of the air conditioner?"
And the elevators, everything.
Yeah, fucking why not? That seems reasonable. Maybe they're gonna get cold at night. We'll let them heat it up a little bit.
And Mike, everything. The elevators,
Right.
the escalators, the HVAC units, anything that you want, these robots
They
can
got
do.
the whole thing. Yeah.
I mean, hear me out. You would think the robots might need, like in a vampire movie, you need like a familiar, like a human familiar.
Mm-hmm.
Could I be that human familiar for these robots? And I just work off Slurpees. They're like, get him Slurpee, but then they're like, get us oil from outside world.
So they need like a guy in the
Yeah.
mall as well to like turn the escalator on.
Yeah.
Or, like oil. If they get a little dried out or whatever.
A robot familiar.
Yeah.
Now we're talking. I
Wash
watched
me.
that movie.
Like a little gopher.
Read to me. Tell me.
What is my purpose?
Tell me stories. Well, Greg, Ferdy, and Rick. I'm laughing as I say this because I'm like, in modern times, this is not my plan because this would not be in existence. They're going to go to, I'm going to loosely say, the sporting goods store. They go to Peck and Paw's Sporting Goods. And luckily, in 1986, you could go to a mall and come out as a commando.
Oh, man.
They get firearms the fact that we're looking at this film so fictitiously, but this is like what could have happened in 86. They get a bunch of firearms. I'm like, okay, brilliant move. Like, because if this was today and we're in Cherry Creek, I'm like, all right, we're going to go to Urban Outfitters. We're going to get a bunch of shower curtains and shower curtain rings, and they're not going to be able to drive over them. But they're like, we're going to go to the sporting goods store and we're gonna get ammoed up.
Yeah.
But they're getting guns that are insane. So one, Ferdy is like rocking a revolver. I'm like, okay,
Worst choice.
yeah. Why are you doing this? Okay, Greg's got a shotgun. I'm like, all right, like, And then you would think there's like a rifle. No, there's an M16. Straight up, like, what? Like, these aren't
Why
like...
is that in the mall?
Yeah, the sporting good. Like, what's the M16? Like, the shotgun starts becoming a little questionable mall style.
I mean, I get shotguns. Like, I mean, a lot of sporting goods stores have like hunting stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe that was a pistol for starting a foot race.
Sure.
I mean, the M16, I don't know. Like, the Dick's Sporting Goods at Park Meadows doesn't even have Jordans in my size. Like, you're gonna get a fucking rifle?
I can't read my handwriting. I don't know if anyone has notes. Emilio, you might have notes on this. Greg says something amazing. He's like, something about Rambo Graham.
I wrote this down. Let's go send those fuckers a Rambogram.
Yeah, I understand Greg's point of view. Like, whoa, dude, we're being attacked by robots. Right now, have no problems with this plan. Like, I am under the assumption that, again, they do not understand the capabilities of these robots because, again, 1985, 86, who the hell would?
Right.
You are not...
Fucking Ferdy thinks they can read minds.
Yeah, Ferdy loses his mind for a second with that, though. Like, they could read our minds. He was watching that sci-fi movie. We didn't develop that story arc, Ferdy. I'm sorry, I'm not buying it. But moment of panic. But also, he's got a revolver. Dumb. But the people with an M16 and a shotgun, I now understand, like, we're going to go get these robots. We're going to shoot the holy hell out of them, and we're going to get out of this mall. Like, okay.
Yeah, that's what I do.
Like, all right. Like, I understand and validate this plan.
Yeah, and they got a propane canister to do a little bomb with.
Yeah.
Hey, there you go.
Yeah.
Which doesn't really work.
I mean, it works. They think it works.
Yeah, I mean, so basically they get a robot, and the robot's like, I don't like you, and turns around, and they just blow the holy hell out of this thing, and it does nothing. And they're like, whoa, whoopsie daisies. Later on, a gun does do stuff. Super weird choice. I guess you have to be very, very specific. If
You got to shoot it in the eye.
Yeah.
The eyes are the groin of the face. Even for robots.
Robots don't like that. And this robot comes over and they roll this propane canister at it and it kind of explodes and it goes off to the side. Side note, I thought that robot was dead. It is not. So that robot does come back. There are still 3 robots in play.
He just tipped it over.
Yeah, I'm just because I'm going to keep the robot count going right now because I didn't know. I was like, oh, they're down to 2.
Robot count.
Yeah, nope. They're back to 3.
You got to keep track. They're elusive. They'll throw you off.
So the group of women, they go to the gasoline store. They're in like the motor store. I don't know.
Yeah, there's an auto parts store in the mall.
So they get
gas.
so they get a bunch of gasoline canisters. They throw some rags into it, and they're like, "We're gonna light these on fire and throw them in the robot's face." And I don't like this plan as much. I'm gonna tell you that.
I mean, that's all they had.
I agree, just not the plan I would rather. Like, I would rather have the shotgun and like be far away.
Yeah, well, they landed in an auto parts store, so it was either that or like the little pine tree air freshener and some.
I'm gonna give you a little foreshadowing. What my nightmare of going wrong happens to Susie.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Okay, I see where you're going.
So they throw all these fire canisters, and they do get some of them lit, and they are exploding. They're on fire. It's a kind of like I don't know.
It's pretty lit.
Yeah, it's lit, bro. And it's not stopping the robots. And I understand that they thought maybe this could happen.
Well, they don't explode. They just kind of become fire near the robot.
And it's not really doing anything. So they're freaking out. And I understand, like, you don't know what these robots are capable of. You don't know what they're made of. Like, this isn't working. So Susie gets shot up a little bit. She gets shot in the leg. And Linda and Allison kind of spread off. And they're like, oh my God. Like,
and they just fucking leave her there.
Well, they're kind of pinned. Like, again, now robot goes into laser mode. It's just shooting everywhere. And Susie's like, oh my God, you gotta help me. And there's another gas canister and it's on fire and it goes right into Susie's body. And she is super on fire. Like Susie is a ball of fire. And so to give some credit to Allison and Linda, they are pinned on, like, it's like a triangle and they're on the left and right side and Susie would be the tip of that triangle. So Susie is now on fire screaming, but the lasers are still going and neither of them have any weapons and there's fire and a robot coming and there's like literally nothing they could do. And Susie is super dead. And Greg sees this and Greg goes into Greg rage mode. Kind of for the rest of the
man,
movie.
yeah.
Well, the
Pisses
rest
him
of the
off.
movie that he's in.
Yeah, that is
Oh
correct.
yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so they all team up again. They get back together. And they're like, we got to get out of here. So Susie's dead. Greg is now clearly freaked out. Susie's dead, and he doesn't know what to do. They get into another room. Lots of rooms.
This is a room.
No one.
I don't have a note for this.
I can't remember what their next plan was.
No, they go to hide in a store, I think. I don't know what store it was.
They're in the Italian restaurant.
This is Italian.
Oh yeah,
okay.
when you get Italian. Yeah, they so this is when they basically hide out there, and Greg soon runs out. He's just really pissed. He's like, I'm gonna take over. Like, I don't really care about any of this. We're gonna go kill these robots. He gets to the 3rd floor, and a robot immediately clamps him and throws him off the 3rd floor, and Greg's dead.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like immediate. So our survivors now are Linda, Rick, Allison, and Ferdy.
It's nice that they kill them in couples, so there's never anyone feeling too sad for
That's
too
true, I
long.
didn't-
Yeah.
It's very considerate.
And we have all 3 robots. But they have this elevator plan.
Yeah, I thought the elevator plan was before
we
Greg
might
died.
have,
did I skip it?
we might have skipped
Hey.
it. I mean, it doesn't matter.
That's why I was a little confused where that spot was. And it really doesn't matter because Greg didn't contribute to it.
Oh.
But they do have this plan to set up some canisters on the elevator and lure a robot in.
Yeah, this is a weird plan.
It is.
And then gas it. Sorry. So when Greg dies, there are 2 robots.
They could have done this a lot better, but
Sure.
it's weird enough.
Yeah.
You just don't want to gas chamber a robot, and then you have to like bullseye shoot it. it is before. Sorry, I skipped it. Like I flipped it in my mind what happened. So before Greg dies, they do kill one of the robots by exploding it. They hook 2 propane canisters to an elevator, and they release the contents in, and they try to shoot the elevator and the robot, and everyone is a terrible shot except for Allison, and they later call her Deadeye. Like, way to go, Deadeye. I kind of know, like, everyone does give her solid props. Like, way to go. Like,
for sure.
Like, we sucked, and like, you took over, and she's like, my father was in the Marines. I was like, that was awesome. But then Greg freaks out, goes to the 3rd floor, and he's off, and now we're down to the 4 humans and 2 robots.
Right, and they go into like a Macy's or something. It's like a department store, right?
You gotta go to Macy's, get a tie, get a robot.
Gotta look nice.
How do you hug a robot and do it in a tie?
Yeah. So they're hiding in the store. I think the robots find them. They don't know where they are at first. They come up with a plan to do like the Home Alone mannequin gag.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that they can make a break for it. And it kind of works.
Yeah, this is kind of weird. Like I took notes for a second. I was like, what just happened? So they set up these mannequins, and they're like, you want to give them target practice? Like, instead of humans, they'll shoot them. And one of the robots, again, like, these robots are like the stormtroopers of robots. It's like, bop, 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 bop. And it shoots one of the mirrors, and it ricochets into itself. And now the robot is freaking out. Like, it's electrocuting itself. It's still kind of shooting. Like, lasers are going everywhere.
It's malfunctioning like a yin-yang.
Yeah.
So Rick develops a plan. I don't want to say a plan. I don't even want to say develops. I don't even know what he's in. He's driving like a little cart that you see at the airport.
Yeah.
And he just drives that right into the robot and electrocutes himself to death.
Yeah.
Like,
And Linda also dies here.
oh yeah, Linda then gets shot and she's dead.
Yeah. Again, they kill in couples.
Sure. What the hell was Rick's plan here?
I don't know. He was going to bump into him at a mile an hour and maybe...
This is the Austin Powers moment.
It is. Yeah, he was
move
stuck.
out of the way.
Yeah.
I didn't care about. They were the worst couple for me.
They were.
Sure, sure, but like Linda's death was due to a shot.
Yeah. They're
What was Rick-
reasonable.
what
This
was
was
Rick
stupid.
doing?
I agree. It was all stupid. His plan and
I mean, Rick's plan is on par with like, all right, so I see this robot is shooting out sparks and is electrifying everything in its way. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to soak myself in water and I'm going to give it a hug. That's going to stop it. Yeah, so they're dead.
Yeah. But we're also down to one robot.
2 humans, 1 robot,
Yeah.
which is my new site. You might not want to Google that. That sounds really dirty now that I say that. That's
It's pretty hot.
yikes. So yeah, we're down to Ferdy and Allison and 1 robot. And I noticed that they're standing in front of Italian yet again.
Yeah, they are back at Italian.
Everything comes back to Italian.
It does.
And meatball.
That's the shirt right there.
Italian and meatball.
You know, everything comes back to Italian.
Here's a question I have. So Allison and Ferdy split up. Why? What was there a plan?
They were looking for the control room.
One was going to the control room, but why wouldn't they go together?
Yeah.
Because they're morons.
I was
Because they
thinking about
said
that when they split.
there was a lot of service corridors, and there was too many on the third floor, and they didn't know which one it was, so they split up to look for it.
No.
I'm never going to split up in this
No,
situation.
I wouldn't either.
Yeah, and I also feel there's only one gun in play still. I think only Ferdy has the gun.
Ferdy does have the gun, but he puts it to good use.
Yeah, he does.
Yes, sir.
I mean, at this point, you would have given it to Allison because she's the Deadeye, you know? She already proved herself.
I would have.
Exactly.
Like, hey, Allison, remember I shot 50 times and I shot nothing? And you shot once and you were awesome? Like, here's the gun. Like, I will be behind you.
He doesn't want to give up that revolver because he saw Dirty Harry like 27 times.
It makes him feel like a big man.
Yeah.
It's a real,
the gun.
that's a real Ferdy move.
It is.
I don't like it.
Yeah.
Well, they do split up. Eventually, one catches up to Allison, like really slowly. Like,
Yeah, well, they're all really slow.
Well, I mean, like it could have shot her head off for like 50 times, but it has to get like 3 inches behind her.
Right.
But does nothing. Again, could shoot infinite lasers, but nothing. Well, she's like, "Oh my God, Ferdy!" And he shows up. And as we noted, he does put the gun to good use. He puts the gun right in front of like the red part of its face and shoots, and it disables the laser. And how do I know that? The robot tells me.
Yeah. Like laser offline. Shit.
Oh no.
Weak.
Whoopsie.
It can kind of see, but it really can't target or make anything out. So
It
it's
can
just
do
spinning around
everything
like
except for
stupid.
shoot lasers, apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm like, I don't know. What could it really do? It can only like electrocute you if you're close to it.
It fucking wangs Fergie with a fire extinguisher.
Well, that's because it tossed it. So now they're going to fight it. Ferdy tries to take a couple shots. Nothing happens. He tells Allison to run. She's hanging out, clearly to thwart him. He takes the world's heaviest fire extinguisher that looks like it was forged in the fires of Mordor.
yeah,
And
this is like a 1910.
oh my
fire
God. It weighs as much as a fire truck. He throws it at the robot, and the robot dodges, or it takes the hit. It's like bonk. And then just picks it up and throws it much harder and throws it at Ferdy, and Ferdy's dead. We'll say that. Ferdy's dead.
Well, he's on the floor bleeding from the head.
He's not doing well.
He doesn't look great.
Mike, what happens when that happens?
Well, we think he ain't getting up from that.
Oh boy.
We're meant to
Oh,
believe
boy.
that he ain't.
Yeah.
Say the line, Bart. Press the button next time.
And Allison just runs. And you should. You run far and fast because there's a death robot trying to death kill you.
Murder, death, kill?
It would be a murder death kill.
Yeah.
Do you think you could use the seashells to stop it?
Yeah. But you don't, it's really hard to do.
So Allison pulls a sweet move. She goes full predator. She goes into a pet shop and covers herself in spiders and snakes because, honestly, when a robot's coming after me, that's my first thought. That's what I think I'm going to do. You know how I could make this better? I'm going to cover myself with spiders and snakes because I'm like, it could always get worse.
Yeah.
That's the reminder I want to give myself.
Well, at first she's like, I'll hide behind this pile of science diet
And
dog
puppies.
food. No, it's spiders and snakes.
And the robot, when it enters, it knocks over a couple.
Yeah, that's the robot's fault.
Yeah.
Snake and spider cases, and they
Sure.
get loose and they start.
But that
crawling
would
out.
would be your plan, right? Like I'm going to get into that.
Yeah, no, all over it. Yeah, no worries.
Put them in my hair. Good times.
Robots can't see spiders. So
Yeah, and I want to really know the robot. If this is Dungeons and Dragons, I want to see the robot's score sheet. I want to know its abilities. I want to know everything.
Yeah, that's true.
Because I also want to know how it's distinguishing hearing and sound and stuff like that. Because the robot's like meh and leaves, and immediately Allison sees something and yells like ah. And the robot turns around. But also I want to know, she does yell, and it's not crazy loud. But it's also in a sea of animals. There's like 70 puppies. All you hear is like, yip, yip,
Yeah,
yip,
sure.
yip, yip. Like, how would the robot distinguish. But I mean, I asked too much of this. I guess I think too
let's
little.
not. Come on.
I think too little of the robots.
It's got an algorithm.
Yeah.
They all had their ID badges. That's why.
That's adorable. They had them like around their necks, like little collars.
I wonder then why the robot wouldn't want to kill those puppies. Like, no one's that heartless.
No, yeah.
It's like stupid humans. Like, oh, puppy.
That's programmed in there, you know.
That's hard programmed. Like, that's like Isaac Asimov's like rule 6. Like, puppies are off limits no matter what. Like, even if you do go bad, and the other rules were supposed to highlight that you wouldn't, but if you do, puppies are off limits.
I like that. Just like that. Puppies are off limits. That's,
Gotta.
Mm-hmm. So phase 2 of her predator mode, she goes into what is like a paint store, the Sherwin-Williams
Predator mode. Oh, let's go. Home Alone 2 Lost in New York.
That's fair, yeah. I didn't know what she was up to at first.
Mike, I still don't.
You
Yeah.
can see she has that idea in her head when she sees it and goes in like, what the hell's going on here?
Yeah. So she starts dumping paint and like other paint, lacquer
It's like a lot of paint
on the
thinner.
ground.
Hey, yeah, lots of paint thinner.
A lot of paint thinner. Yeah, whatever she's got.
I could kind of tell what she was doing at the end. Like, I can see where this is going, but still, it seems kind of stupid.
Yeah. I thought she maybe thought that paint was more flammable than it is.
That's yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
But it doesn't matter. Whatever she's doing, it works.
Well, what's adorable is that robots are sliding around a bit.
yeah, the
It's
robot
like,
gets stuck in the paint. But I think that's what she knew was going to happen, or she hoped was going to happen.
So I actually don't. I think that was just
a
like
pleasant surprise.
Yeah, it was
That-
definitely a surprise for
I'm
me
with
as
you,
the
Paul.
audience
Same,
member.
yeah.
Yeah, so the robot can't like move for a second. Like I think it would have been able to get out of its jam, but there's so much gook and gunk and glop everywhere.
Yeah.
That it's like stuck in like its motors. It's like meh, meh.
Well, tank treads are easily flummoxed, as we know. That's
Yeah.
why the military uses them.
So, but I think her main plan was it just needed to get in this one way or another, and she throws a flare into it.
Yeah, she's got a road flare tucked in her chinos.
She took it when earlier foreshadowing in the
Yeah.
movie when they got to the auto parts store. She tucked it in her little bra.
Right.
She's like, I'm gonna use this later, and
like-
now's the time. Damn it!
She's like, if I have to Home Alone this, I'm gonna Home Alone this.
And she home aloned it. She did.
Well, so things stuck in the paint. She flares it. Everything explodes, including the robot.
Oh yeah, it's so angry.
It is very angry.
That is a massive explosion for 4 cans of paint.
It was
thinner in
a
road
pretty
flare.
big explosion,
Takes out a
yeah.
whole store.
Yeah, she walks off. I mean, she's like crawling away, and I understand. Like she is shot up, she's hurt,
Yeah.
knocked back by explosion. She is then able to stand up and limps off, and you're like, "Hey, what's going on?" Guess what? Ferdy's not dead.
Fergie Ferg.
Yeah,
He's back.
he's holding an entire roll of toilet paper that is covered in blood on the back of his head. I was like, dude, like you immediately need to go to the doctor. Like that's a lot of blood. That is a lot of blood. Like maybe you don't see it, but she should tell you about it. As a friend, you should look into that. From my understanding, she doesn't, because the last scenes are he's like, "Hey, nice shot," and they embrace and kiss, and then the camera kind of pans out, and you see more of like a bird's eye view of them, and the movie's over. And side note, there is a extra scene. The extra scene is there is a robot, and it comes towards the screen. And it really does nothing for anyone.
It says "Have a nice day," which is the tagline that they use throughout the movie after they kill someone or when they leave them alone. Just every time a robot leaves, "Have a nice day."
I will have a nice day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's actually what Allison said to the robot. That was her line before
Yeah.
she blew him up. "Have a nice day."
She knew the tagline. You think this is Allison's first time at Shopping Mall?
She knows how to do it.
So before we get into our final reviews, as always, feel free to reach out to us at rabbittroopsuckspodcast@gmail.com. Is there a movie that you would like us to review? Is there something interesting that we didn't mention? Is there just something cool you want to talk to us about cinema? Again, reach out to us, rabbittroopsuckspodcast@gmail.com, or go to our website proper, rabbittroopsucks.com. We have pictures. You'll see Emilio's picture when this by the time this premieres. We have links to merchandise and episodes. Our episodes are playing everywhere. I just always note that if you're listening to us on YouTube and you'd rather listen to us on the podcast app of your iPhone, you could do that. You could go to Spotify, you could go to Amazon, you could go to wherever podcasts are playing. We are also on Instagram and Facebook. And as always, thank you for writing us at those locations. We always like writing back and hearing what you have to say about films. And yeah, that's where we're at. Oh, and we'll talk more about details, but September 21st, Saturday, we will be at MiniCon, Aurora History Museum. We'll be in the library giving a lecture. So September 21st, we'll tell you more, but prepare, MiniCon. We were there last year. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Boys doing it back to back.
We're doing it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I like it.
So what did everyone think about Chopping Mall? Emilio, you want to start with the Chopping Mall? What did you think about Chopping Mall?
I enjoyed it more than I thought. The first time around, I was like, God, the writing's terrible. I actually saw this film twice.
I was going to say first time around.
Yeah, okay.
First time I saw it just to enjoy the film. And then the second time I rewatched it to be able to take notes. Second time around, I was like, you know what? This movie's actually fantastic. The lines are cheesy, but they're actually so bad that they're good. And then I was like, I love it.
Very nice.
Lamar, what are you thinking about Chopping Mall?
I loved it. I wasn't intended to be bad. I think this director really tried to make something. It turned out to be decent because he didn't bullshit around. If you're going to make a movie like this, and it's really short, if you're going to make a movie like this, make it short. Don't waste everybody's time with backstory. Get right to the chopping. Get right to the robots. This movie doesn't dick around with a lot of wasted time. It's pretty decent. It's short, nice. The soundtrack slaps, Paul, you're right. And that's all I have to really say about this movie.
You could always go, hey, nice shot.
That's true.
Or have a nice day. Did this movie make you have a nice day?
It did. The movie was short and my review is short. It's decent. Is it great? No. It's decent. And you'll have fun with it. You can watch this alone.
Yeah, Rami shout out. Watch it alone, watch it in a group.
Give the Rami. It goes both ways. It's decent. Mike,
Decent.
you say it's decent?
Decent movie. I like this movie. I think it's stupid and fun. I've seen it a few times. I mean, I saw it the first time with you guys. I've seen it since then. I think my girlfriend and I watched it a while ago. It's dumb. The writing is stupid, but it's fun. Like, honestly, for how bad of a movie it is, the acting isn't terrible. The soundtrack's kind of decent. Like, the practical effects are kind of fun. Like, it's a pretty well done bad movie.
Yeah.
It's like, it kind of walks that line between, it's not really self-aware, but it's also not taking itself too seriously, I guess. I don't know. It just kind of, it hits the right notes for me. It's dumb, but yeah, you can watch it by yourself, watch it with people. I drank an entire bottle of wine tonight watching it. Which is
serious?
Yeah, well, I'm closing in on it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very nice.
That might help too. Maybe that's why I liked it.
What wine does this movie pair with?
It pairs really well with the $6 rosé from Trader Joe's.
I have been drinking Gatorade Frost, thirst quencher.
All right. Well, good.
I totally agree with Mike that I do agree the acting is pretty decent for what this movie is. Like, it's surprisingly decent for what it is. As noted, I do know a couple of the characters in other films, but the one from Karate Kid and Head of the Class, who plays Ferdy, I'm not surprised he does well. I thought he did well in all of the other roles. Like, he seems to have some more acting. Allison does well. Allison, I would say, is my favorite character of the movie.
Yeah.
She's like no nonsense about what she doesn't like, what she's willing to do. She's a great shot. She's, although this is a shit situation, she's like active about getting out of it and trying to help others. I think she's a stand-up character, so I think that's really good. So I do like that there's kind of a happy ending. This movie, I think the self-awareness, Mike, is not in the story or how they act, but it's in the cut of the film. This movie clocks in under 1 hour and 20 minutes. And
wow.
That, I think, is like something to be said, that the story's like, boom, we're going to have as Lamar said, we're going to have these robots. They're here for security. within 5 minutes, boom, just get it out of the way. They're sentient beings. They're malfunctioning, and they're here to kill everything. You throw in the trope of 80s sex romp. That happens, and all of a sudden it's a kill fest. So it's more campy than, no pun intended, like Friday the 13th. The original ones, that is, where, teens are having sex and then there's something killing them. It is way more campy than that. But I think this movie's a lot of fun for what it is. I will say, if I was younger, like when I was a teenager, if I saw this movie, I would definitely appreciate it. There's sex and nudity and robots, and I mean, I'm going to be honest, that's going to sell me if I was totally 15. Now that I'm much older than that, the sex stuff is kind of weird, as I said. You're a bunch of people are having sex in a room, and you're kind of aware of that, so that's weird. But all the robots and the fighting, I love it. Those are my favorite scenes. I mean, it's so bizarre and so outdated. I think this is a fun film. I agree with Lamar. You can watch it in a group or alone, anything you want.
Looking forward to the remake.
Yeah, that remake is going to be dope. I am 100% in. So Emilio, what you're saying is we're all going for a Rabbit Troop Sucks outing. You invited, and we're all going to go see that movie live action.
I am there, 100%.
I'm 100%.
I'm in for this.
Anyone, anything else to say about this movie? Sex bots?
Wish Jeremy was here so he can comment on the mall atmosphere, because there's a lot of it in this movie. And if you like that kind of stuff, like the wood grain, like the old 80s mall scenes, I think you'll enjoy it. Just the background scenes, all the mall shops.
I would love to hang out
the
at this
crazy
mall.
funnies.
Yeah.
A lot of the stores, I've never heard of any of these stores really. I think I saw a McDonald's in the background.
Yeah, there's a McDonald's.
But like World of Almonds.
Something in Sons.
What's the name of that sporting goods store?
I don't remember.
Peck and Paws.
Peck and
or
Paws,
something. Yeah. Like, wow.
I hear they're opening an Italian in Cherry Creek.
I can't wait to go to
Can't
Italian.
wait.
Yeah.
My review of Italian is adequate. Emilio, I really want to thank you for being on.
Yeah, thanks for coming by.
We hope you had fun with this movie. I know it's a crazy movie. Emilio and I have talked about horror movies for ages.
Awesome.
So I hope this one was fun to talk about.
It was. It was a lot of fun. Adding on to it, second time around, I realized this movie is chock full of Easter eggs. An absurd amount. In the Italian restaurant, it's lined up with posters from the director's previous films.
Oh, yeah.
We were talking about that. There were so many posters. I'm so glad you looked that up. We're like, there's got to be something with this, because Lamar noticed one or two. I was like, there was some from before. I was like, I just was taking so many notes, I didn't have time to take down those.
I had to think about it. I think only The Lost Empire, it was his first movie he directed. And this is his second movie. It's kind of funny. He directed 140 movies or whatever, all of them pseudo porn.
A lot of them were.
He's
Yeah.
directing 10 a day at that point in time.
So that poster was at least his. The other movie posters, I have no idea. Maybe he's a fan of monster movies. I think one was a monster movie.
Well, clearly he's a fan of monster movies and pornography.
Oh, yeah.
And
Get
Italian.
that there.
And Italian.
But that was cool.
actually-
Little Easter eggs in the background scenes. I'm glad you saw that too, Emilio.
Yeah, I actually went back and found all the posters that were actually there, and I did my due diligence and my homework, and I actually downloaded them to share them with you guys. But you can actually see how much this director loves horror and pornography. You can actually see it in these posters. Very clear.
Yes.
A lot of phallic
He wants it
elements in
to be
these.
well known.
Yep.
He's a man of many interests, and as Lamar notes, he wants that to be very clear to all of us.
Right. He's in this for a reason. You should send us that list. I want to know about this.
very
Yeah, I'll
interesting,
definitely send it over right now, actually.
We can do like an Instagram montage story.
So, what are you into? I'm into collecting very rare wines from Italy. I think there's a very robust flavor to them. And I am also into hardcore pornography.
A man of many interests.
Sometimes when I'm drinking that wine, sometimes when I'm not drinking that wine. Well, coming up next, we're going to be at you still in the 80s, going a year back, as Lamar knows. A very, very, very important date in my entire life, because I really feel this showcases films. This is one of two dates, or three, I would argue, but 1985 is just a date that unleashes so many IPs or sequels to those IPs, and is such a place in film history. We're going to look at Summer Rental from 1985. But as I always say, like 84, 85, 86, like there are movies that were released then that still you feel the echo today. They're still releasing sequels or people want them. Really, really notable dates in film.
Yeah, that was the period, wasn't it? And those, man, I don't think any other 3-year period of movies can fuck with 84 through 86.
Well, I thought, you just get big things like Spielberg and Lucas were like so connected, and they were so in charge of like studio producing and various other things. And just also, we live in a world where like those guys were doing that, but now we have like 5,000 directors and 1 million movies coming out, and it's just so hard to contend. But like at that point in time, it's like you'd go to the theater and you'd be like, oh, which Spielberg movie am I seeing this season or like this half of this year? That one of those guys was definitely producing, if not directing, major films that were coming out. Yeah. But there were other films like Summer Rental, 1985. Yeah. Mm-hmm. John Candy, though.
Oh, yeah.
John Larroquette's in it. John Larroquette is in it as well.
Yeah. I love this movie.
I am glad we're choosing it. Yeah.
Good.
Well, again, Emilio, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
And as always, Rabbit Troop sucks.
Rabbit Troop
Have a nice day.